So I think we're going to go from a state that has a lot of potential with good leadership and good processes in place to a state that has a lot of potential with fractured leadership and almost indiscernible processes in place. The state of Illinois.
Great introduction. Oh, Illinois. In 2015, Illinois had and is continuing to implement a very successful solar renewable energy credit program. It is part of the mechanism by which our state is trying to reach our 25% renewable energy by 2025 renewable portfolio standard goal. This, when it was created in 2007, was a very progressive RPS. And we've succeeded in tripping over ourselves trying to get the state to help us out in the industry and individuals actually make the RPS work as it was intended. And because it was is a goal, it's not mandated, there seems to be some impression that they have the freedom to not actually, implement it. So the only bright spot really that two bright spots is that the solar renewable energy credit really is creating a market at a time when solar companies specifically were dying on the vine, and individuals who wanted to go solar simply couldn't make it happen. We had fits and starts with the Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunity rebate that was severely underfunded, became a lottery process, and just because it was pretty much a non-starter for many people. And so when the Renewable Energy Credit Program was initiated, it took a while in 2015 for it to catch on. As with almost everything else in Illinois government, it's complicated. It's a bidding procurement process with unpublished values. You have to sneak in under an unpublished benchmark to even make it into the bidding process, and there are aggregators, middlemen involved, and it's really complicated. And StraightUp Solar, the company I work for, figured it out and were successful. We were successful in 2015 and 2016 only because, really, as president of Illinois Solar Energy Association, I was really close to the process and we could figure it out. It's really complicated. So that has, it has allowed companies like ours to survive and allowed organizations like Illinois Solar Energy Association, Environmental Law and Policy Center, a huge number of organizations, and frankly, national level solar companies, Solar City, Sunrun. There's national level attention on Chicago for obvious reasons. And this solar renewable energy credit program has bought us some time to begin advocating for the RPS to begin working again, create the Clean Jobs Bill, which is a really strong piece of energy legislation that's competing against, and here comes the really bad news, a ComEd energy bill that was dropped in mid-May. This energy bill does a number of evil things, and this ComEd Exelon is the major investor-owned utility in the Chicago area. They also have one lobbyist for every two legislators. Their bill that was recently dropped not only offers a quote-unquote solar rebate, it's a rebate, bait, and switch, but does away with net metering and introduces demand charge rate structure for residential homeowners. And it may not sound so bad, but this is devastating. This could be devastating. Not only to just, you talk about low-income individuals. If your whole month rate is based on, one night you have a bunch of friends over in the summer and your electricity peaks, your entire bill for the month could be charged at that peak rate. And I'm not aware of any other precedent in the country where demand charge is used on a residential basis. It's used in commercial and industrial, but I'm not familiar with
Been proposed.
There's a few tiny little ones
Okay.
that do it, but
Okay.
no major utility
Investor-owned utility.
has it. No,
Yeah.
not.
Right. So that's where we are with the ComEd bill, and And so we're fighting that right now. The Illinois Solar Energy Association, we've got great help in addition to the national level companies that have fought this fight before. But you know, StraightUp Solar is part of this organization known as Amicus, and there are members within this organization, this group, who have been through this phase, right? And they're, you know, saying welcome to it. This is kind of the phase that Illinois is in. We're at this precipice where we were building momentum with the Solar Renewable Energy Credit Program, and now ComEd has dropped a bill that could threaten not only the success of that program, but this successful Clean Jobs Bill legislation that would clean up the process and make the solar renewable energy program more, much more easy for individuals to participate in, and essentially remove net metering and complicate the process of a solar installer telling a residential homeowner, this is the value of solar to you. Because when you try to explain the financials for a solar installation with where you don't really know what their cost for electricity is going to be month to month, they're not going to have net metering. Any excess will be credited at avoided cost. And the rebate that they're offering, $1,000 per kilowatt, when compared to the value of solar, that's the next study that we're hoping to perform. No one really knows yet how far that rebate will go, to offset the cost for a system that will provide value for you for over 30 years. So that's the good and the bad. I see potential for the co-ops as they are feeling pressure to comply with the requirements of the Clean Power Plan. I see great potential for the co-ops to break off to the extent they can. They're involved in long-term contracts with suppliers, so they only have so much flexibility. But I do see some potential, and surprisingly in Southern Illinois, we're working with a co-op that is very open to large solar on the distributed side so far, but I do see some potential for co-ops in Illinois to break out and operate independently. There have been a few 500 kilowatt solar installations done in 2 different co-op areas, so that might be a bright spot. So I see a need to engage the co-ops even more forcefully to get them to open up to the idea. With regard to the RPS just operating as it was planned, again, in a complicated way, the funding for SRECs to be purchased is the funding comes from 3 different buckets. And because Illinois is a deregulated energy state, the filling of those buckets and the need to purchase SRECs along with electricity varies from year to year. So there's no certainty, there's no guarantee that SRECs will need to be purchased from year to year. So for the first year, even though the SREC program has been successful so far, as a result of these kind of fits and starts, Illinois lost solar jobs, lost renewable energy jobs in 2015. And this has just, kind of been a constant thing since about 2011, is this up and down market and opportunity for homeowners, businesses, and nonprofits to go solar.